Hey, rock stars. Believe it or not, we're on the mid to end week uh, place in August. I don't know if you guys got in on the one hit wonder sale. If you didn't, you kind of missed out because the Harvest Spice is incredible. I'm so excited to get it once again. Guys, if you do not have your online convention ticket purchased yet, you're in the wrong boat. So make sure you get that ordered right away. There's going to be a lot of really fun things coming down the pipeline. And I'm so stoked to get my hands on those new oils coming out next month. It's kind of a weird time. We have people not sending their kids to school. We have people sending their kids to school and just trying to figure out what does that mean and how do we best function moving forward in doTERRA land, how we usually do this time of the year. I was on another call earlier this week, and this gal had made a COVID kit, which basically was the family essentials kit, the 240 kit, I don't know what it's called now, and she just transferred everything over to how you could use it in current times. And I loved it. Like, it was a fantastic approach. Anyway, so tonight I asked LaTaryn if she wouldn't mind hopping on here and sharing, one, what her routine looks like with her kiddos going back to school. Two, how is she sharing that with customers on her team? And three, how do you share the business opportunity right now and use maybe some of your school friends as people on your list, right, to get going. So LaTaryn, I'm gonna pass to you.
All right. So one of the things that I'm gonna just put out there right now before I forget. So there is a promo going for my team exclusively on the shower diffusers. You get 20% off this week only until Friday. And that is done through the company. If you use the link, I have the link posted. But those shower diffusers are amazing for the school year. I transfer multiple oils in and out of the diffusers. You just hook the bottle in and you can mix your own blend, or you can just put the whole bottle on there. It has an automatic shutoff of anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. I usually end up pushing the button twice on mine while I'm in the shower. The kids, they turn it on as soon as they get in the shower, and then it automatically turns off. So it's not one that you have to worry about using up all of your oils if the kids forget to turn it off. So for Mason, we use regularly Breathe and Petitgrain in his shower diffuser, and then we switch out the Petitgrain for Peace occasionally, depending on what's going on with him and the school year. And then for Kaylin, we do Console and On Guard, or we switch out the On Guard for Eucalyptus, depending on what's going on for her. And then in my bathroom, we do On Guard and Balance. Always. Those two oils haven't changed the entire almost 2 years since we've had it in our shower. So one of the biggest things that as soon as school starts, or like the week approaching school, I start making, well, I always have it made, but I start making sure that it is regularly being used. And it's a detangler lice support spray that I use on actually Mason and Kaylin both. It's designed to use as a detangler, obviously, and we use it first thing in the morning, and it's just in a stainless steel spray bottle. There's 20 drops of rosemary, spearmint, and tea tree, 10 drops of cinnamon, and then a dab of the doTERRA conditioner, and then I just top it off with water, shake, and spray. And the conditioner is optional. I don't always use it. That was just one of the little hacks that I saw not too long ago, that it can actually be used as a detangler if you dilute it with water. And then I start prepping the kids with the A to Z vitamins, the IQ Mega oil, and the PB Assist, and start prepping their immune systems for the school years, because the school, obviously going back to school, the kids are exposed to all kinds of different germs. And this year I'm trying to do extra prep for it because, well, my kids are going back to school. For my sanity, they have to go back to school. Like they need that outlet, and I need that time. And we're lucky we've got a principal that is doing compassion over compliance. So the kids are not going to be reprimanded for any rules that they're not following as far as the COVID stuff goes. But then we do the trim shakes with the kids. Mason is into wrestling and Kaylin does dance and gymnastics, and so we have chocolate and vanilla trim shake on hand always, so if they need a little something after school or first thing in the morning, because they're served breakfast at school in their classroom every single morning. And so they started doing the trim shakes a while back, just to have something on their tummy before they left the house if they didn't feel like eating. Kaylin's getting to the point now where she's a lot like I am. She doesn't want to eat breakfast. She doesn't like eating until 10, 11 o'clock in the afternoon, but she gets very, very hangry. And so she's got to have something on her belly when she goes to school. So we do the trim shakes, and I try and make some granola bars and just some different things that she can throw in her bag that are real quick. A few of the oils that I always have on hand and make sure I'm stocked up on is basil, deep blue, everything, all of the deep blue products. Like, I make sure that I don't run out of those ever, especially with both kids being in sports and as active as they are in school. That's something that we use on a regular basis. The adaptive collection, we use the adaptive collection on Mason, along with the A to Z and the IQ Mega. And depending on where his moods hit, last year we actually upped him to the single dose of LLV, just because he needed that added support for his scattered brain and his crazy moods and hyperactivity. The kids collection, I try and buy the actual kids collection every single time, just because I send oils to school with them, and I help stock the classrooms for oils. So the teachers and the resource teacher has the oils on hand anytime they need them. The kids have their own little oil kit that they carry in their backpack. Mason usually has Digestin in his bag always because of his ears from his allergies and his tummy. So he just rolls it on his sinuses and all the way down behind his ears and then on his stomach to help everything drain, especially when his allergies are acting up. And that drains everything way better than just doing like the basil and the aroma touch and stuff like that you would, and the tea tree that you would normally use for either vertigo or for infections in the ear or sinus infection. Sorry, that's not very compliant. But On Guard drops, Breathe drops, I stock up on those babies because my daughter will go through a bag a day if I do not limit her supply. And actually, I don't care if she has a bag a day. I just worry that I'm gonna run out before I can get more for her. So I do limit how many she can actually have. I usually just take the snack baggies and put a handful of On Guard throat drops in a snack baggie and put it in her backpack. And majority of the time, by the time she gets home, they're gone, always. Mason, on the other hand, he's a little bit more conservative. He would rather have candy. then what's good for him. And so, but he prefers the Breathe drops over the On Guard drops. And that also helps with clearing of the sinuses and draining and all that fun stuff. PB Assist Junior, depending on what's going on, I will start out with 2 PB Assist packets per kid for the first week of school, and then I drop it down to 1 of the PB Assist Junior packets. Magnolia, Jasmine, and Tamer are 3 absolute must-haves. Those are Kaylin's favorite. And she actually uses those more than any of the other oils that we have. And I actually asked her why specifically those oils, and because she has a whole bunch sitting on her bed, at the top of her bed. And I asked her to go up and grab me 3 of her favorite oils that she likes to use all the time. And she brought down Magnolia, Jasmine, and Brave. The Tamer was not in her room. It was actually in my room. But she said that the Magnolia and the Jasmine helps her tummy and her tummy and her throat. Because when her fears start kicking in, she gets that hoarseness in her throat like I do, and her tummy acts up. And so as soon as she puts the Jasmine, the Magnolia, or the Brave on, she said it calms down everything immediately, calms down her brain, calms her tummy, and it takes away that hoarseness in her throat. And then she said that the Brave she really likes because it smells like Smarties. That's why she likes to use that one. But Tamer has spearmint in it, so Tamer is one that I'm more drawn to, just because of the spearmint, but that one she loves. And then the Stronger, she carries that with her everywhere. She bathes in Stronger, and I'm okay with that because it's obviously helps with the immune system and stuff. So one of the things that I kind of wanted to touch on were some of the spectrum oils that we used to use a lot on Mason when we first started using doTERRA, and they helped a bunch. And DDR Prime was not out when we first started using doTERRA, so we went for, and neither was Copaiba, but we added those in after, once each one of them came along. But for the cellular function and neuroprotectiveness, DDR Prime, frankincense, and Copaiba are just 3 of the top ones that I noticed a huge difference in when it comes to dealing with some of the spectrum stuff. And I have a few women on my team that have kids that are on the spectrum or have full-blown something one way or another that use that particular combination. The auditory processing and focusing oils that go with some of the spectrum stuff: Intune, Console, Bergamot, Peppermint, and Wild Orange. So they've always said Intune is amazing for kids on the spectrum. And I actually think that most of that is from the patchouli that is in the Intune. I found that the patchouli and Wild Orange was the most calming blend for Mason to calm his brain, and it actually put him to sleep when we first started using the oils, because he is one that acts opposite to what the normal would be. And the easiest way for me, especially if I'm talking with someone new to oils, the easiest way for me to help them figure that out, how they're going to respond or how their child's going to respond, is comparing or finding out how they respond to Benadryl, if they've ever had it. I used to have the opposite reaction of Benadryl. Benadryl, for most people, knocks them out, puts them to sleep. I actually have the opposite reaction. It hypes me up. And Mason is the exact same way. And so when it came time to using the oils, for calming minds and just going to sleep, everyone's like, lavender, use the calming oils. Nope, that didn't work for me, and it definitely did not work for him. And we found the secret solution of patchouli and wild orange for him. And so if we have someone that is on the opposite end of everything, then that's usually one of the first combinations that I recommend to parents, especially if they already know how their child responds to over-the-counter medicines. A few of the oils that are amazing for meltdowns, mood, and sleep: vetiver, peace, cedarwood, lavender, patchouli, and balance. Now, I did not add serenity oil to this combination because, especially for kids or even adults that have a high functioning brain, serenity oil is sometimes too much for them to handle. I have multiple adults on my team that serenity oil releases too much too fast for them, and it actually triggers a really bad reaction for them. And so that's serenity. If you know that you or your customer, your family, or whoever can use serenity without the adverse reaction, then add serenity to that list. But it's becoming more and more common that I've seen the more I talk to people. One of the blends, the rollerball blends that I really like, is called the Hammer. It's 15 drops of balance, serenity, ylang ylang, vetiver, bergamot, and Roman chamomile, and then 3 to 6 drops of patchouli oil. And then you can top it off with a carrier oil if you want. For roller bottles, I prefer the thicker oils, like almond oil, avocado oil, instead of just the coconut oil, just because I find it lasts longer, and then people don't have a sensitivity reaction if they're constantly using it and rolling it on. Especially if you have people that are new to the oils and their system is still detoxing. So another one that we were using before they came out with the linen spray was called Nighty Night Monster Spray. Chases all the scary monsters away. But you put it in a spray bottle, and I actually just reused the Serenity linen spray bottle that they just came out with. And it's 15 drops of Serenity, cedarwood, and vetiver, topped off with water. And then you just shake it up and spray wherever you need to. If you know someone that can't use Serenity oil, you can obviously change it out for lavender or Roman chamomile, or another calming oil. If you have a positive reaction to patchouli and it helps calm you, then switch it out with patchouli or peace or console. So one thing that we've been really blessed with is we've not had to worry about lice or pink eye. And honestly, I do think it is partly due to the spray, the detangler spray that I use on the kids every single morning before they go to school. My older 2 girls have come to my house multiple times with lice, and nobody has known. And I didn't even catch it while they were at the house. Their dad or stepmom had caught it when they had gone back to their house. And no one in our house has ever gotten it after the older 2 girls have been here. And I go through and spray everything, obviously, after we found out that they had it. But using the detangler spray, I think, has helped a ton deter all of that stuff. But for pink eye, it's just 1 drop lavender, 1 drop tea tree, and then either almond oil, avocado oil, or if you're in desperate need, you can use coconut oil, but never put it in your eye. You just rub it around your eye area. And if it's getting too bad, obviously get checked. If the lavender and tea tree isn't working, but usually you can tell a difference if you apply it 3 times in a day. You can usually see a difference even after one application. On Guard everything. I have On Guard foaming hand soap, On Guard laundry soap, On Guard cleaner, everything On Guard. And I actually even use On Guard I actually add a little bit of On Guard oil to my laundry, even if I'm using the On Guard laundry detergent, just for that added, just to make sure everything is gone and dead and not transferring. And then with right now with the On Guard foaming hand soap being on lockdown, you can do the On Guard cleaner and top it off with water and put it in the foaming hand dispenser. And it's not going to be identical, but it's going to be a lot better than just normal soap. And then don't forget the Motivate, Intune, and Thinker are all 15% off this month. So I would definitely jump on those to make sure that your team or you, if you have kids that are in school or grandkids, now would be the time to stock up on those because there is the discount for those. And then, oh geez, but really I just take things as they go. I make sure that their gut health is in order. We try not to do a lot of sugar anyway, but the school that the kids go to, they incentivize the kids with good behavior with candy. And so I made a deal with my kids last year. If they brought all of their candy home and filled up the mason jars that we had with each one of their names on it, and they didn't eat any of the candy, and they brought it all home, put it in the jar, at the end of the week, we would go through and that they would be able to earn money. Depending on how much candy they brought home throughout the week, they'd be able to earn money to go towards something that, like Mason's big into video games. So he was working towards buying his own video game that he really wanted. And Kaylin, she's just all over the place. So whatever pops into her head, she's like, oh, I want to buy this. But it works really, really well to try and cut down on the sugar intake. But just stocking up on and making sure they've got the gut health is one of the biggest things that I really focus on, and making sure that they're not eating a ton of garbage and trying to stay away from the processed foods and takeout and stuff. And obviously there's a lot of kids that just won't eat vegetables and they don't want to eat healthy foods. And so I found different ways to trick them into eating their veggies. Like I think it's Borelli has veggie noodles, and you can get them gluten-free. So if we're doing pasta, I try and go as healthy as I can on the pasta side and sneak as much veggies and stuff in there that I possibly can. And then where I can't do the substitutions, then obviously we stock up on our oils and we do oil regimens regularly. So last year, Kaylin and Mason both, before the shutdown, got really, really sick. I ended up taking both of them into the doctors to get checked. And Kaylin tested positive for 2 viruses, but because her temperature was so high, the doctor was like, there's something else going on. And this was before the shutdown and everything had happened. It was like right before. And so he was pretty sure that she had that virus that's going around that caused the whole shutdown. And we're pretty sure that Mason had it too. And because Kaylin is allergic to antibiotics, we tried around, actually, we only tried 2 doses on her with high doses of Benadryl and essential oils to help with the allergy effect and the Terrazyme and stuff like that. And we were still unable, and we were not able to do the antibiotic regimen that she needed. So I developed this really crazy concoction. It's coconut oil, solid coconut oil with a little bit of almond oil in it. And it has patchouli, turmeric, linseed, cedarwood, bergamot, oregano, peppermint, copaiba, basil, breeze, digestion, cassia, lemongrass, juniper berry, peace, eucalyptus, thyme, and lavender in it. Like I said, this was my last shot, and her fever was gone within 24 hours of using this. I actually put this next to her bed and told her I wanted her to put it on anytime she felt on her feet, anytime she felt that the moistness go away. And then I put it down her spine. So this was kind of like a symphony of the cells in a container. But it has so many antiviral, antibacterial, anti-everything in it. And I actually still use this. This is from last year. And I still have quite a bit left. And I use this on my foot and over the weekend. And it took my bruising and all of my inflammation down in my foot from my stress fracture that I have. And then, so this is the size bottle that I use for the detangler spray. But this is also an anti-inflammatory spray that I use on Mason and the girls on the gymnastics team and stuff. But it's also a symphony in the bottle. So if you start developing signs or symptoms of a sickness, you can use it. And it has helichrysum, frankincense, deep blue, peppermint, wintergreen, aroma touch, clove, lemongrass, console, and Siberian fir. And then Correct-X, my kids actually take a tube of Correct-X in their backpack with them to school, along with some different oils that they use throughout the day, and then the doTERRA chapstick. And I started making Kaylin take the doTERRA chapstick in her backpack because she was sharing chapstick with other little girls at school. And it made me like just ill. And I really think that's how she ended up getting the viruses 2 years ago in her mouth. She was sharing chapstick. So she now uses the doTERRA chapstick and she carries it with her everywhere she goes. And then lemon oil. Oh yeah, I can't forget about the lemon oil. So we do stainless steel water bottles for both of our kids. They both take water bottles to school with them. And every morning, each kid fills their water bottle with ice and water and 6 drops of lemon oil in it. And the 6 drops is enough to be in there all day, no matter how much they drink. It just kind of stays in there and floats in the stainless steel without contaminating the bottle itself. But that helps to flush out their system of any of the extra garbage that they may have in their system from whatever. As far as getting oils in the classroom, every state, every school district, every teacher, everything is different. Our teachers here are very, very open to everything, basically. So I approach the teacher usually when they go in and do meet the teacher day before school starts. This year, I didn't get that opportunity, but teachers actually came to our house to meet the kids this year. And it just kind of blew my mind, or I spaced it at that point in time. But typically I will just ask the teacher if they're open to having a diffuser in their classroom and a few oils that will help with the immune system, keeping kids focused and keeping classrooms calm. And I have not had a teacher tell me no yet. I've even had a couple, actually, I had it was a librarian in our school. She's actually uses Young Living, and she didn't even tell me no. She said yes. And then the resource teacher actually approached me. She's the guidance counselor, about supplying a diffuser and oils for her office, because she found that working with the kids in the classrooms that have the diffuser, that are diffusing any of the doTERRA oils, she found that those kids are more focused and calmer, and they're easier to work with and manage all of their stuff compared to classrooms that didn't have it. So her favorite thing to diffuse in her office is wild orange and peppermint. And I think it was actually China did a study on peppermint oil in the classrooms, and it was not company specific. It was just diffusing peppermint oil on testing days. And they found that students that were in a classroom that was diffusing peppermint oil, they had better test scores, better focusing, better everything compared to not. So that's one of the statistics that I, if I'm struggling with a teacher or a parent, that's one of the things that I mention to them. And it doesn't always work, but usually if you have a study or something to back up what you're trying to communicate to them, you definitely have a better response. But this year I will be supplying the On Guard cleaner in the classrooms and the foaming hand soap dispensers, just to make sure. I do it mostly for my kids. I don't do this to get enrollments or customers or anything. It's just a bonus if I do. But this just helps put my mind at ease, knowing that my kids are not going to be exposed to a bunch of chemicals at school. And they always have an On Guard hand sanitizer spray hooked to their backpack in the little On Guard clippy chain thing that they had. I think they gave out last year or the year before. You could buy at the swag shop. Might have been the year before. But yeah. So questions? I kind of just flew through all that.
Yeah, that's really good. Thanks, LaTaryn. I think that's really, really, really helpful. I know it's kind of weird going into this new school season because things are just a little up in the air. But last year, I remember you did like teacher appreciation bags or something, or there was something that we were talking about. Are you planning on doing something like that?
Yes. So every holiday and on Teacher Appreciation Week, I do, and if I know when the teacher's birthday is, I always do a oil, like a little oil gift bag, just for them. Most of the teachers around here know doTERRA. Some of them have accounts, but some of them don't. And so I just make sure that I talk to them a little bit beforehand to see where they're at with stuff and if they don't have a favorite oil, try and find out what their preferred smell is, I guess, whether they like floral or citrus or spicy or woody. And then I just kind of go with that. And the kids help me with that. And the teachers at the beginning of the year, they usually send out an email to all the parents saying what their likes are and like what kind of movies, what kind of candy, what kind of drinks and stuff like that. And then in return, we do it for our kids and we send that stuff to them too. But typically that bag will consist of the On Guard throat drops, the Breathe drops, depending on what's going on and what part of the year it is, it will usually consist of On Guard oil, lavender oil, or serenity oil. But the kids help out a lot in that aspect of stuff because they're able to come back and say, hey, Mom, my teacher really likes this smell. And that's where a lot of the extra little goodies come from, because my kids like to give stuff to people. So we usually do it for all of the office staff and then their teachers. And then if they have a special teacher that they bonded with that year, then we'll do a few extra teachers on top of it. But they've gotten really good about communicating all of that stuff. And if I have sample stuff on hand, like the rub or the shampoo and conditioner samples or the toothpaste samples, then of course I'll put the samples out. But not very many people have the stock supply like I have. So I just try and go through my supply and see what I have a lot of and then just go from there. And if I don't have a lot of supply, that's when I use my points to help with some of the cost side of stuff. I save up my points and usually use those for teacher gifts and stuff.
That's a really good idea. You okay if we open it up for questions?
Of course.
I'm gonna shut off the recording really quick.